This show is brought to you by The Makery, the podcast network for makers.
Welcome to Knife Talk. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. Here we are.
Here we are again. Here we are again. It's been a crazy rush for me today. I've been busy, and my wife said to me just 20 minutes ago, "Your dinner's ready." I'm like, so I've had to wolf down the food, but we're all good. We're all good. How has your week been?
Good. Totally
Good.
crazy. Totally
This-
crazy.
This works well for a chat show. Just the one-word answers.
Why don't you start in, Mareko? Tell us how you been.
Well, I know I just said good, but actually this week's been pretty shitty. Honestly, I woke up Monday morning super bright and early, way earlier than I normally do, around 4:30 in the morning, and going back to sleep. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna wake up, and I haven't been good. I've complained about back problems and pain and stuff over the last forever, I feel like. And thank you, Jeff has offered forwarded some titles to books and stuff. So I was doing some of my morning yoga stretches and stuff that I'm not very consistent with doing, and I should be better about doing, but I'm not. And as the day progressed, it went great, but as the day, my lower right back started feeling really horrible. Have you seen those long ice picks that it's like basically it's a wood all with a long metal spike in it? It felt like something
Yes.
like that was getting shoved into my lower right back. When I would just lean forward to grab something off the counter in the kitchen, or I couldn't even put on my socks, honestly, by the time I was ready. It was like time to get ready for work. It was pretty terrible. And honestly, been like that for the last this morning even still. Actually, this morning was the first time I could put on my socks without my back absolutely fucking
Oh, jeez.
killed. Productive knife wise in the shop. It's mostly been like emails. That's been my week.
So what's going to be the game plan? What's the plan to fix this?
Well, I think honestly, there's a lot of stuff. I need to change the way I eat. I need to change my activity levels. Honestly, I'm not as physical as I should be, even though I have a 4-year-old son. A lot of our time, my time with him is either in the morning as we're getting ready for the day, or in the afternoon or in the evening when it's time, like dinner time. I get home, I make dinner, or I help hang out with the dude, but we're not really doing anything too active. We're mostly reading books, or he's building stuff with his blocks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really introduce the kind of activity that I really should be doing. Just even go for walks. I don't unfortunately my current situation is pretty sedentary. It's either I'm standing at a grinder or I'm sitting at my workbench, and so I need to change some things up, because you only got one body. You got to take care of it.
You'll have to get one of those, those bikes that you put under your desk. So as you're hand sanding, you could be cycling away at the same time. Oh, geez. Well, look, I hope you get better. Are you taking anything for it? Are you having any sort of therapy for it at all?
Say that again.
Are you having any therapy at all for your back, or taking any special drugs for it or anything?
No, ibuprofen. That's about it. Be a chiropractor, but I haven't been seeing him for the last couple of years, honestly, because my stretching, I was doing better about my stretching. I've kind of fallen out of it in the last 6 months, and so yeah, it's just I need to train myself, develop new habits, positive habits for myself.
Did you end up getting that book, or after this, send me your address?
I
And I'm
haven't
gonna send
gotten
a
it yet.
copy of it. I'm gonna send you a copy of it. It's really, really good, and a lot of it has to do with the concept that people didn't have back pain before World War II. Back pain, the
Sure.
back pain that we see now is something that's relatively new. And there's this theory.
I blame the Germans. Yeah, because of World War II. Yeah.
No, I mean that's the key. The thing is there's this theory now, especially that this back pain is like very it has to do with your mind. And this particular doctor who passed away it's all about like how he treats, and he's well respected. He passed away a few years ago. And I actually knew his daughter when I was in grade school, but his whole thing was that a lot of traumas, psychological traumas affect back pain. Like that's a really big thing. So when we get done with this, I'm going to send you a copy because I think it would be it's a very inexpensive way to maybe pursue something that might be very beneficial.
Do you, before you send that, do you know if there's an audiobook version of that book of it?
I don't know.
Because honestly, I don't have any time to sit down and read anything.
Okay, I'll see what I'll look at.
I take everything through audio now.
I can read it to you.
You gonna read it to me? Sure.
I'll read it to you.
Bedtime stories.
Yeah, bedtime.
That'll be the podcast. It's gonna be. I'll have the Full Blast podcast. Will be an audiobook for Mareko. It'll be like a whole series. I think it'll be easy because I don't have to book guests, and all I have to do is like read for an hour and a half. That's gonna be tough too. I don't think I can do that. I'll see what I can do. Dr. Sarno, Griffin Handmade Knives in the chat room. If you can join us in the podcast live. We're doing this live, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that, have we? We're live on YouTube for the first time on the Knife Talk YouTube channel. So if you're watching, you can join in the chat. We can see your chat. So if you've got any questions, any jokes, anything that'll amuse us, let us know.
Big thanks to Griffith's Handmade Knives. He's right. It's Dr. Sarno. Dr. Sarno is very well known for these books about how it's about the mind. I'll take care of it after this is all over.
He's a fellow Welshman as well.
Oh, is he?
Which is good to see. Yeah. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we've got live video and we're going out live, and I'm launching a knife now. I've done the special one-off knife, so I'm about to launch it, and I'm going to play the preview video for those who haven't seen it.
There it is. There it is. That's alien DNA we're looking at.
That's awesome.
And just like that, we're banned from YouTube.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's just sold, which I'm very happy about. So,
congratulations. That's great.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, 8 minutes ago. Nicholas Crowler. It went live at 9. So Nicholas Crowler, thank you very much. I'll get that shipped out to you tomorrow morning.
Wow, that was fast.
This works well, doesn't it? Being able to promote our own shit.
No one gets the hook too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, just out of curiosity, because I'm curious,
Yeah.
if you were to watch this live, what would be the best way to do that?
YouTube.
And do you just have to know, or do you want to like link it to into the stories, or?
Yeah. It's basically it's live on the Knife Talk YouTube channel now, and on Facebook too at the same time. So yeah, I suppose we could now take the URL of this and message it out, but I've got so much on the go at the moment that I can't.
Okay, I can do that while you guys are talking. So
all right, okay.
Can I just copy the link that you sent me, or is that going to send everybody into the
No,
main
it's
room?
got to be the YouTube link. So on YouTube.com. It's they've got all manner of stuff there, Jeff. It's
Do you need the www beforehand?
Hold on,
It makes
old
it
man.
makes no it makes no
Jesus
difference. It can be in all caps as well if you like, Jeff. It makes
Oh,
no
okay,
difference.
okay.
So while you do that, I'll sort of talk about my week. So I worked on that knife, and I worked on the video for the knife for just as long as it took me to make the knife. I'll be honest with you, because I love
Right.
doing that. And yeah, well, it's just so which is good. But what else have I been? I had the biggest nightmare, and I thought this could be up. This whole knife game could be up for me. So I broke my phone. This whole story started with me breaking my phone. And I thought then, right, well, I've had this UK phone for so long, I might as well now have a French one with a French mobile. So I did. The phone came, couldn't sign into Instagram. And I was like, oh, right, okay. Then I realized that I'd put on two-factor authentication on Instagram. Quickly discovered that I was fucked. The only way to get out of, well, to reset things is for Instagram and the third-party app that I was using, which was called Duo Mobile, which is the two-factor authentication app, was for them to SMS me a code which I could then use. But I didn't have access to the old number anymore, so I couldn't do that either.
Oh my god.
So I'm looking online to see a fix for this, and it's just tens of thousands of people who this has happened to, and they've literally just lost their Instagram account. They've lost everything, and
Oh wow.
it quickly dawned on me how much how much I need it for work, for business. So this went on for 3 or 4 days trying to find fixes. Fortunately, I've got a few contacts at Instagram back from my old sort of design days, and I managed to get a few people who would speak to me about it on the phone. They would tell me it's all to do with the security of the third party app. There's nothing we can do, and I'm like, this is my whole business. This is, I just sold a knife
Right.
now. That's due to Instagram, really. Everything is due to Instagram. So we managed to sort it out in the end, where somebody from Instagram did something that they shouldn't have done, but it helped me out. But just very fortunate that I knew people within there. So just a message to everybody. I mean, most of our listeners are using Instagram. That's how we do most of our communications with them. If you are using a third-party app for your two-factor authentication, make sure that shit is up to date as well. You can also go into Instagram and you can get codes, which are recovery codes. Get them, email them to yourself, store them somewhere safe, because one day you may need them. All completely my fault, not updating phone numbers before I changed my phone and all the rest of it. But I was literally that close to losing the whole account and having to restart. And not only restarting, but not having, my name, Chop Knives, as I'd have to pick something else, and the other one would just be dormant.
So if you didn't have that connection, you wouldn't have been able to get everything squared away.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. And if that same issue, if you Google it, tens of thousands of people it's happened to. It's a real problem. So, I would advise people to use two-factor authentication, just because there's so many scammers out there on Instagram. It's easy to be sort of tricked into giving away passwords and all the rest of it. But if you do, make sure whichever one you're using. I was using Duo Mobile. Make sure all your details are up to date with them, such as phone numbers. Otherwise, it can really leave you in the shit. So, yeah, that was.
Yikes.
I had 4 or 5 days of just thinking, I'm done. You build up this following and all that kind of thing, and it was literally gone overnight. Whew. So yeah, just very, very, very lucky.
Sorry. Amateur hour.
That's. I mean, I can't think of. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, that the fact that you had built this whole thing up and for you not be able to do anything about it. I know that you'd messaged me before, and when you were having this problem, and it was brutal. It was brutal. I didn't know what you were going to do, but at the same time, I also knew Craig's got a problem, and he's always going to fix it. I always know that you seem to always have some sort of upper hand. I almost feel like you're kind of like fishing for this little move, so you know that we'll know that you know how to fix these problems.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was honestly, it was really shit my pants time. Really was for a number of days. My wife was saying it'll be fine, other people and stuff. And it's like, yeah, other people have been through this and they've lost their account. Yeah, just very fortunate. But just a reminder to everybody: if you are using two-factor authentication, make sure that other app is completely up to date.
But how can Instagram not have any kind of customer service?
It's terrible. It's terrible. There's no there's no phone number. There's no support email. It's just really really bad. And it's a free service at the end of the day. You know, think of it that way. But yeah, it's when something does go wrong, or you know, your business is reliant on it as well, which mine is, like most of ours. It can be a real problem. So just make sure that everything is locked down and you're sorted.
Ugh.
I'm having a hard time understanding how you could have done things differently, because it sounds like when you got your new phone, you lost your old number. And
Yeah.
at
So
that point, and how could you update that information with Duo before you even got your new phone and your new number and had that activated?
couple of things that I should have done. So when you set
Okay.
up Duo, or the other one is made by Twilio, and Authy is the other big two-factor authentication app. When you set it up within Instagram, Instagram will then give you these restore codes, where it says it's very important that you save these just in case you're locked out. And I didn't. It's completely my fault. I didn't.
I
So
got you.
yeah. So the best thing to do, I think, is email those to yourself with a good subject line that you can easily find later on if you need them.
Sure.
And then another issue that I had then with excuse me, with Duo was I tried to get in with my wife's phone in the intermediate time of me losing my old phone and getting my new one. So that was the third number that I was trying to use, and obviously I'm in a different country from where it was set up as well. So all
Right.
these flags were going off, and it was
Sure.
yeah, it was pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary stuff. But thankfully that's all sorted. So I've been on a bit of an Instagram trip today. So I've gone live twice today, and yeah, the different posts, that kind of stuff. So
It does make you realize how tenuous it all is. That's the one thing that I hate is like I could get a new phone, but I'm just part of me is just like I wrote down all my passwords. I got everything written down, but I'm still like, well, what happens if I lose? What happens if I switch over and something happens? And it's so tenuous that it's like, I mean, it wouldn't destroy me, but it would be like, it would be bad.
it would be a big problem for business without a
It'd
doubt.
be a
Yeah,
huge problem.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why maybe this whole, you know what? It's like we're playing this game where it's, you have no choice, and then you rely.
Mm.
It's all eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not good. So aside from that, I finished a big restaurant order which went out to a chef which I talked about last week, and he tweeted the knives and things like that. And we had a couple of hundred followers from that actually, so that was quite nice.
Bonus.
And that's it. And just doing a lot of stuff in the house. So we finally finished our pub this week. The final little things were finished. And we've been using it. We're still under a curfew here, so 7 p.m. is still our curfew time, which just seems ridiculous now that it's still light at 9:30, nearly 10 p.m. now. But 7 p.m. is our curfew. So the only way I'm using at the pub at the moment is the contractors that we're having working on the house. On a Friday, they all finish an hour early, so they can all come to the pub for an hour. And that's how sad my life has become. These random strangers.
So if the
You're hanging out with your
contractors do a
builders.
shitty job, they still come into the pub.
They still come into the pub. Yeah,
for
whether they come back
fuck's
on
sake.
Monday is another thing.
For fuck's
But
sake.
yeah, it is a bit crazy. But Jeff, your week, what's been going on?
It was mad dash. I did the handles and glued up 31 knives by the end of today, which I was really happy about. We're clearing the decks, and that was really good. We beat the brakes off of our accountant, who decided to take a vacation because there was a tax information was the tax dates have been pushed back, so he decided to take a vacation, and we had to beat the brakes off this guy because it was like, we need this information, and he was on vacation, so we took care of him, and it was a lot of work.
How did you get to those glue ups? I saw the picture of the glue ups, and there was so many. So is this like a bunch of weeks' work that you waited to glue them all up together, or how did
Well,
you
I
get to
mean,
that
it was
point?
like, it was a pile of 21 knives that I started kind of slowly putting together. And then I just kind of like hand sanded them all. And then I just did them in a huge batch, and I got all the wood together and talked to all the, every different customer about what they wanted. And just I just put my head down and did like a big batch. It was really good, really good. And then at the last minute yesterday, I decided to throw in some steak knives that I had to get done too. So it was like I was just hauling ass all week. It was really actually felt great. I felt really good. And then today
Nice.
and now I can have all these things gluing up over the weekend, which I kind of like even better.
Nice. Yeah.
That's really good. And then today I had a very nice meeting with my doctor. I had my checkup, and I've known this guy for quite a while, and we're
Did you wear
like,
gloves? Did you wear?
listen, this is going to be very disappointing to the both of you. Very disappointing to the both of you for me to tell you that I said to him, I've known him for a long time, and I said, Jim, he's my doctor, but I call him Jim. I said, Jim, is this the time you're going to be
gentle and use plenty of lube?
You want to know what I said? You want to know what I said? I said, Jim. I said, because he knows me, he knows my mother, and Jim, is this the week you're going to be checking my oil? And he said, and he goes, Jeff, I hate to say it to you, but you're too young. True story. He did feel my balls. He did.
Oh well,
he
you
did
had
feel
something
my
out of it
balls.
at least.
He did give my balls a squeeze.
A little bit of action.
He gave me a balls a squeeze, and I stood there with my pants down and my, and he's, but at the same time, it was like I was prepared for the old oil change, and no oil change. But I've lost, since the biggest I've lost 20 pounds, which is nice.
Wow.
And my heart rate was very good. My heart rate was like 118. I had to write it down because I didn't even know.
Yeah, because you've been
20
building up
pounds
to this,
over
haven't
what?
you?
Over what
I
kind of
lost
period?
20 pounds within the last couple of years. I used
Okay.
to be 20 pounds bigger, and this year I've changed my whole situation. And then my heart rate was 112 over 78, which my wife told me is good. So I got my blood checked, and I got I'm waiting to hear about that. And then I asked him for a tetanus shot. I said, "What PSA blood test?" These goddamn people with it. That's all. Whatever. I don't know what these guys are saying. But
If he sticks a finger in you, it's not for medical reasons.
I know. I said, Jim, what are you? If you're checking me, how come you pull your hands on my shoulders? Like that. But he said, no, everything's looking good. And then I said to him, he's like, when was the last time you had your tetanus shot? And I said to him, it's been under 10 years. And he goes, well, you want another one? I'm like, yeah, give it to me. So I got the tetanus shot. And then if you all listening to this podcast, you all working with metal, you can get your tetanus shot in general. It's a good thing to have. So I got that done. And then last thing is, and this is something I wanted to talk about, especially to our listeners. I had a nice conversation with Justin Morrell. He's the president of the NEB, which is the New England Blacksmiths, and he's the president. And his dad is Lee Morrell, who is the president of Vanna. We had a nice conversation about the future of blacksmithing and bladesmithing and stuff like that. And one of the questions we get a lot of on this podcast is, how can you get more involved in blacksmithing, bladesmithing? We suggest you take classes, obviously. But also the good thing is to join these organizations. And I know some of you don't live near, New England. It doesn't really matter. But what the NEB is doing and Abana is doing is they're trying to figure out ways in which to raise membership so they can do more things. Justin was telling me, I said to him, if you had all the money in the world for the NEB, what would you guys do? And he said to me, well, one of the things we'd like to do is we'd like to do more endowments. And then I said, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, we're involved with the New England School of Metalworking, but because they're a nonprofit, they do a lot of donations. So we're hoping that we can, at some point, we want to be more involved with them in terms of that. They have sponsors, and every few months, or I don't know, and this is me saying, this is not Justin or Bob Menard or anybody, I'm just taking this on myself. So if you become a member of the NEB or Abana, what you're trying to do is you're trying to help raise money for them to be able to help other places. So instead of Derek over at the New England School of Metalwork having to talk to Maine Oxy to keep them sponsoring the school so they can, they'll have money. So what the NEB is wanting to do is get more members so they can make more money, so then they can help endow the school. So then the school can concentrate on the classes instead of raising money. The other thing is you can also go to the New England School of Metalwork and donate money. So it doesn't have to be a lot, but they are taking donations to help fund the school. So if you are listening to this and you want to become a member of an organization, that's great. It's super helpful to be part of this community. All jokes aside, I make a lot of jokes about all these guys, but ultimately I re-up to all of it. But you can go to the website of the New England School of Metalwork and you can donate a tax-deductible donation that helps them run the school. And that's all I'm going to say. But we get so many people who ask. It's just like, if we could mobilize listeners to help with these places, better things are going to happen for our community.
Yeah. So have they been closed during COVID then? Have they had to just stop their business or?
Well, the Morel Metalsmiths closed down because everyone was shut down for a while, and it was really hard. It was hard for him to be able to pay his guys, and he wanted to make sure that he felt responsible for his guys. In regards to the New England School of Metalwork, I'm not 100% sure. I'm under the impression that they probably didn't have as many classes, but it's one of those things that they will be doing more. And I know that they have classes coming up. I think they just did a friction folder class, but like I said, you want to be part of the community, help the community. That's what I say.
Gotcha. Okay. And sponsorship is a good way. So whilst we're talking about sponsorship, I thought we'd play a little game with our sponsors, with our sponsor reads. So who would like to go first, Mareko or Jeff? I tell you what, let's put Mareko on first.
Okay. Let's play again.
I'm going to play an ad, and we want you to lip sync.
Today, I'm sponsored by Fader Knives.
That's right. Look at that.
Nice.
That's old school. That's an old school sweatshirt. That's an old school sweatshirt. I can make those again.
For some reason, TV at the moment is full of lip syncing stuff, like celebrities trying to lip sync songs and all the rest of it. It's like, it's big business. It's big business. So we thought we'd get Mareko to lip sync our ads. So here's the first one. Are you ready?
Knife Talk is sponsored by Even Heat, the manufacturers of the finest heat treat ovens available. To find your next oven, go to evenheat-kiln.com.
Nice. Better than Brian. That's all I can say. If you want an Even Heat, make sure you go to actually Soul Ceramics, because they're a distributor of Even Heat, and we can get you $75 off and free shipping in the US by going to Soul Ceramics. And the best way to do that is to go to knifetalk.net/heat. And it'll automatically apply those discounts for you. And you can spec up the machine exactly how you want it. So, knifetalk.net/heat.
Do we also maybe have a link down in the description when we put this back out?
There is, yes. We did that last week. So, we'll definitely do it again this week.
Nice.
So, if you're watching after the live event, you'll be able to just click the link, get your discount, and you're sorted. And you are sorted. Shall we play another little game?
Sure.
Okay. Jeff, I think you need to go first this week because you did it last week. So the idea is, for those who are listening maybe for the first time, we are going to do a quiz. For Jeff and Mareko, it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire themed, obviously. But please, in the chat, don't give away the answers.
And P.S. I have to square something up. Somebody says I'm a vegan. I'm not a vegan. I was on the Australian podcast and somebody called me a vegan. I'm not a vegan, so that's it.
So back off.
Yeah, so leave it alone. I mean, it's like you're incorrect. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
If you eat more protein, you won't get so angry.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? I'm angry. Okay, go ahead.
So the idea is 5 questions each, like we did last week. No help from the audience unless you specifically ask one of your lifelines. You've got 2 lifelines. One is ask the audience, so those in the chat, and the other one is phone a friend. So if you want to phone a friend on one, that's fine. The way we're going to do it is slightly different, though. So rather than you're out after you get one wrong, you're going to have all 5 questions, and you'll have a score, a point for each.
Okay.
Are you ready for your first question?
All the time.
First question being a bit of suspense. In the UK, the abbreviation NHS stands for National what service? Is it A, humanity, B, health, C, honor, or D, household?
Oh my god, I can't do my first call on the first. Oh, we're doing. I'm going to say health. B.
You're going to say, what is somebody giving you the answer there? The way you flip and flop very quickly. You are correct.
Well, I just didn't want to use my phone a friend for the first question.
Right, you're in. You're right.
You know.
You're right. First question
Go ahead.
was correct. Number 2, a bit of suspense. The hammer and sickle is one of the most recognizable symbols of which political ideology? Is it republicanism, conservatism, communism rather, or a liberalism?
It's C, communism.
Correct. Flying through these. Okay. We're going to get trickier now. Question number 3. Oh, that's question number 4. Easy.
Oh boy.
At the closest point, which island group is only 50 miles southeast of the coast of Florida? Is it A, Bahamas, B, Virgin Isles, C, Turks and Caicos, which I've never heard of,
Turks and Caicos, not Turks and Caicos.
okay, or D, Bermuda?
It's not the Virgin Islands. That I know. And then the Bahamas, 50 miles southeast. I want to say Bermuda.
Are you going to go with Bermuda?
I want to go with Bermuda.
You've got 2 lifelines. You can ask the audience.
Oh, I'm going to ask the audience. I'm going to ask the audience.
Okay.
What do you think,
audience,
guys?
Those in the chat. At the closest point, which island group is only 50 miles southeast of the coast of Florida? Is it A, Bahamas, B, Virgin Islands, C, Turks and something?
I like how Maximus answer is I.
Or is it D, Bermuda?
Boy,
And I'm looking in the chat and people are giving different answers here.
I mean, I'm not getting. No one's really helping me out here at all.
My guess would be A.
I'm going to go with Bahamas
think you
because
want
everyone
help.
seems. I'm going to go with the Bahamas. I was going for Bermuda, but I'm going to say the Bahamas. I'm going to go with Griffin, Maximus Knives, and Griffin and Maximus Knives says Bermuda. Or Bahamas. I'm going to say Bahamas.
Jeff, you are correct.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thailand. Somebody wrote Thailand. Thanks, Alex Dabby. You're no help at all.
Number 4.
Okay.
Obstetrics is a branch of medicine particularly concerned with what? Childbirth, broken bones, heart conditions, or old age?
I'm going to call my lifeline.
Ooh, we like this.
Or should I save it for the next one?
Completely up to you. Completely up to you. Who would your lifeline be?
Jeremy Spake.
Well, funnily enough, Jeremy Spake just tried calling us.
Jeremy Spake is my lifeline.
Jeremy Spake is your lifeline. Let me give Jeremy a call. Let's have a look how to do that.
Don't hang up on him.
I won't hang up. I'm over that. I'm completely over that. Okay. When he comes on, don't speak to him. I'll do a little intro and we'll go from there.
Hello.
Jeremy, do not say fuck or bugger. You are live on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh boy.
Your friend Jeff is stuck on a question for $500,000.
Oh boy.
He seems to think you're the man who'll know the answer. So when I finish talking, Jeff is going to have 30 seconds to tell you the question, and hopefully we'll come up with the answer. Are you ready?
All right.
Jeff, over to you.
Hey, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Obstetrics is a branch of medicine particularly concerned with what? A, childbirth, B, broken bones, C, heart conditions, or D, old age?
What was it again? The word?
Obstetrics.
Babies, old people, or
Babies. Can I see the screen again? Babies, old people, a childbirth, broken bones, heart conditions, or old age? Are you there?
He hasn't,
I don't know,
he hasn't frozen, by the way.
know.
He's thinking.
I'm leaning towards bones, but bones are babies.
Bones or babies?
I've never broken a bone. I've never broken a bone. I've never had a baby. I'm not old, and I don't have a heart condition. So what the heck do I know?
Well, I mean,
I'm leaning toward bones.
you're
leaning
leaning towards
towards bones.
That's what I do for a living. I make metal bones, so we'll say bones.
I'm gonna, you
Yeah,
know what?
I think-
Because I mean, I would hate to call a phone a friend and not go with his answer. I'm gonna go with Jeremy's answer
And
because
you're gonna go
otherwise
with-
that would be rude, wouldn't it be? Bones. I'm gonna go with broken bones. I'm gonna go with B.
Okay, lesson learned here. Never listen to Jeremy speak because the answer
Oh,
is
I know the answer.
childbirth.
Yeah.
Childbirth.
OBGYN, bud.
I don't know from kids. I don't know
I mean,
anything about kids.
You're the smartest guy I know. I mean, I figured you had a little bit of background in, this and that.
Well, children is the one thing I know very, very little about. So I've let you down, Jeff.
You
Drink
didn't
from
let me
next
down.
time.
No, you didn't let me down. I'll call you again. I might call you again.
So
I
what
should have
you up to
remembered.
today, Jeremy. What you been up to today?
I'm at work making puppets, making stop motion puppets. So
Nice.
another day in the fun factory.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for taking the call. Unfortunately,
Thank
you've lost Jeff nearly $500,000 because we're playing for real here. We don't mess around here. With all that Even Heat sponsorship money. So, thank you very much. And I'm sure
Jeff's got plenty of potential, no matter what.
he's got potential.
Jeremy, don't worry. You're worth it. You're worth that losing $500,000. You're worth it.
All right. Good luck.
Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You were wrong. Wow.
I
Okay.
wasn't wrong. I just forgot that I had a kid and we used to go to the obstetrician. I got a 16-year-old now. So I
you
got one wrong. Let's go to the last one.
You
Jeez
got
Louise.
one last question. So your last question would well, it still is. In 1912, former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt was a candidate for which political party? Was it A, Bull Moose, B, Bull Dog, C, Bull Elephant, or D, Bull Frog?
I'm going to go with B, Bulldog.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Wrong again, I'm afraid.
Fuck.
It was Bull Moose. Bull Moose.
What can you
apparently.
do? What can
I
you
thought you
do?
would have known that.
What can you
Jeez.
do? I appreciate the audience
yourself a-
helped me with the Bahamas or
Call
Bermuda,
yourself a
whichever one it was.
patriot.
There's no Bull Moose party.
So
Not
you
anymore.
had 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
What we'll do, we'll go back to our regular show, our normal service, and we shall take some questions, I suppose. Should we do that? And we
Sounds
can do
good.
Morocco's. We can do Morocco's later then, if that's all right.
Okay.
Just got a message from Jeremy. It's in big capital letters, spaced in between every letter. Sorry.
Well, I think N. Warren had it right as well in the chat. He said, I know it, but you'd already used your Ask the Audience, so I'm afraid that's it. Okay, Mareko, would you like to go for our first question
Yeah.
just a sec?
Hey, man, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, that's right. Time for questions from the audience. If you guys have any questions, any burning desires to understand and things you want to know, you know where you can send it? Well, you can
Contact
send it
us via DM at Knife Talk Podcast on Instagram. It's that easy.
It's that easy. All right, this first one is from Butthole Blades. He says, my other question is, oh, apparently he had a previous question. Anyways,
He's got a pile
how
of questions.
close to
the
the
whole plate is going to pile of questions.
How close to the final design do you forge? I've seen a few makers online suggest leaving plenty of fat for the grinder to leave room to fix fuck-ups, but I've also seen a lot of videos of skilled bladesmiths forging something that looks very close to a finished product. I've been trying hard to do this just to improve my own skills, but I'm curious what the pros do in the real world. What do you guys think?
I don't forge at all. So, Jeff, I'll throw it straight over to you.
I mean, I think that it's good to try to forge as much as possible and to be a better blacksmith, to be a better bladesmith. Mass and volume control is where it's at. I mean, that's what a blacksmith is you're changing mass, and then you're manipulating mass, and you're trying to be efficient with the movement of the mass. The more you move, the less you have to grind. There are people who, I've forged close to shape, and then I've touched everything on the grinder. But it all depends on what you're doing. I remember when I saw once again, if you were to buy an online class, Jason Knight's Forge series is awesome, and he the elemental knife, he forges and then he cleans everything up with a grinder. The profile. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, one of the things about being a blacksmith is you're learning how to become more and more efficient. You look at guys like Cliff Dufton or Ben Snur, or you look at John Ariani, and you look at Pat Quinn. They're constantly refining their work to be more efficient with their movement. They're efficient with their heats and efficient with the final product. So with that said, I mean, always trying to be better is always the best. I mean, I have some things I forged out that were terrible. I used to have to forge out power hammer leaves, and it took a while before we were getting them down to they were really great. And we were using them for finials for a fence, and once they got them right, you never had to touch them with the grinder. It's like you allowed the material to move the way it needed to move, and then everything was done. And we hit it with the wire brush, and we stuck them on the fence. So I think that there's a lot to constantly growing as a crafts person, as a blacksmith, as a bladesmith, and constantly trying to better yourself. And I think but at the same time, it's like, there's nothing wrong with hitting someone with a grinder.
Yeah. I think Matt Coates should have an award for the best comment of the show already, and we're only half an hour in. I'm surprised Butthole Blades didn't have any questions about branding and marketing. I think it's a great comment.
Matt Coates going down.
Pretty good.
Going down.
Let's put this one back to you then, Mareko, because obviously you forge a lot. What are your thoughts?
Forge a lot, yeah. So, and some of the people in the comments have already kind of touched on this, but it's kind of more. It's kind of a personal preference on what kind of aesthetic that you're trying to go for. Because you can forge a blade, and there are plenty of makers who forge blades, and then they grind all of kind of what Jeff would refer to as the humanity. They grind it all away. And so at some part, especially if it's a monosteel, it's like, what's the fucking point of even forging it? Because you can't really see any of that activity in the finished thing. Now, places you really do start to see that humanity or some of that maker's touch is in a brute to forge style knife, where a knife has been forged really close to dimension, so that all that's really left to do is kind of just sharp, like after heat treat, is to sharpen the knife and put a handle on it. And then when it comes to Damascus patterns, there are, you can get something from like Damasteel, and you can do stock removal, and you can have a great pattern. If you're making your own Damascus, you can get from doing stock removal like that, making your own plates and cutting out your blades, to forging really close to dimension. And some of that is to kind of show, because you can actually see it in the Damascus. You can see how the pattern flows, and it's a response.
We have a phone call. Shall we take a phone call live on the air?
Forging. Yeah, let's take it.
Oh.
Social episode.
Alfredo, how are you?
Oh, fine, thanks.
How can we help? How can we help you? Well, first of all, tell everybody who you are, what your name is.
Oh, dammi una mano, vieni qua. Wait a moment. Dammi una mano.
Well, there's a whole team of people here.
we are from Italy. We are eating cinghiale.
Oh, that looks wild boar. Is that like in a ragu kind of sauce?
You can see Craig.
Is that like a wild boar in a ragu?
Yeah, wild boar.
Craig, what are you doing with your right hand right now?
That looks
Craig's
very good.
face is the best. He is losing his mind.
So Alfredo, tell us about your work. What kind of knives do you make?
I make kitchen knives, chef knives, and kitchen knives.
Nice.
And you.
Yeah, and how can we help? What's going on today?
Vai a prendere this one.
Oh wow! So you guys can't see, but Alfredo has a
Okay, right. This is
tattoo
a
on his arm.
Hugin.
That's beautiful.
Questo qua.
That's lovely.
I am the Italian who can speak English.
Ah, okay. That's
You
good to
sound
hear.
pretty good to me.
Because I can't speak Italian, so that's very good to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
How can we help? Have you got a question for us?
No, I want only just to say hello to you.
Cool. And thank you for showing us that food. That looked incredible. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Showing you the food.
Bye bye.
Alfredo, if people want to see your work on Instagram, where can they find it?
My Instagram account, Alfredo Faccipieri. This is my knife.
That's beautiful. Right. Okay, everybody, go follow Alfredo. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Speak soon.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Bye-bye.
Griffin,
was complicated.
Griffin
So-
Handmade says you need a bib. you were really frothing at the mouth.
Well,
Yeah, it's
Alfredo's
good
there
thing
with
the
his
camera's
mates.
only from the chest up.
There was 4 of them there, all sitting around this table, and they had this big bowl in the middle, and it was he said it was wild boar. Well, you heard wild boar in like a big ragu sauce. It looked incredible. So he's talking. Somebody's translating for him. That's coming through to my phone, which you can't. Oh, crazy times. Anyway, where were we? We had
Hey, man, can I ask you a question?
Jeff. Do you want to do the next one?
Did we finish the last question good enough? Or
Yeah, I'll tighten it up. I'll just tidy it up. So what I was saying about forging, especially when it comes to patterns, you can see the flow of that pattern and the maker's, I guess, level of skill and forging comes into play when you can see how it's flowing or how it comes together. There is a point of, or you can get to where you've gone too far. And I've lately been struggling with dialing back my forging and keeping my material thicker, because when you forge too close to finished dimension, especially on a mosaic Damascus, you create a lot of distortion, especially in the thin areas along the cutting edge, out at the tip, and it creates a lot of unwanted activity. And so by keeping that a little bit thicker, it helps reduce that kind of that distortion and keeps everything looking really nice and crisp around the edge and out at the tip. But again, ultimately, it comes down to what you are wanting to try to achieve and maybe what your customers are also looking for.
Cool.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I think all of this you can't just pigeonhole. Like Sanmai. Like some Sanmai, you
Right.
can't just forge. You have to be very careful on how you're forging it because
Right.
of how you're grinding it. I think that
Exactly.
if we didn't have to deal with heat treatment, if we didn't have to deal with tempering, heat treatment, we didn't deal with grinding, and you wanted to just be a blacksmith, you just do it to shape, But because of thicknesses and how the thermal cycle affects that thin part too, it's like you just got to, I think the most important thing is to just constantly try to be better and better every time.
Right.
And then not stress out and not lie.
Yeah.
And just don't lie, just be honest,
Makers, I would say, who are doing a really good job forging close to final dimension. Lynn Ray, obviously, is number one, I would say. Mike Quisenberry is phenomenal, and he's forging integral guards and full tangs also, along with not just the blade. And then Kurt Hallen, also of Free Hill Blades. They all 3 of those guys do really, really phenomenal, exemplary work of forging close to dimension, I would say.
Colony knives too.
Colony Ironwork, or Colony Knives. I always always get that twisted.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, Andy.
Andrew, he's a those guys are all
Cool. So
Okay.
I think the answer there was forge as close as you can, but don't lose sleep over it. But if you are going to then grind down,
Combat Abrasives makes the world's best abrasive belts for knife makers. Available in any size at unbelievable prices. Go take a look at combatabrasives.com and get 15% off with promo code KNIFETALK15. Do it now.
I missed the hook at the end. Knife Talk 15, combatabrasives.com. Head over there and get your discount. It's the abrasives that we all use. So yeah, go ahead and use it. Jeff, next question, please.
Yes. This comes from our friend Justin at Running Man Forge. When you have a bold Damascus pattern, is it more beneficial to have low grit finish like 1,000 compared to 2,500 grit? I've been getting black on the bold 15N20 and at 2,500 grit, even with cold coffee. Cheers, dudes. I think that's a Morocco question.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on that. When was that? A few episodes back. But honestly, I think no matter what grit you finish it to, if the 15 and 20 is bolder than an eighth of an inch wide, it's gonna pick up color. No matter if it's 2,500, 1,000, or 220 grit, it's gonna pick up color. And so I think the if you don't want the 15 and 20 color, either create a pattern where those lines are not as bold, or you can kind of get in there with some micro abrasives and clean some of that up. But other than that, like unfortunately, it's kind of unavoidable, especially in the bold 15 and 20.
Cool. I've got nothing to add there. Nothing at all.
Me neither.
So I can't see the questions, guys, because I've got not enough screens.
Right.
So
Well,
maybe
I'll do
Jeff
the
read
next
the next
one.
one too. Oh, okay, Morocco, yeah.
Yeah. This one's from Jade Curtis. It says, "Hey man, I have a question. Is there a trick to get the ends forge welded up? Or am I just bad at hammering? I'm using hand hammer for forge welding and taking many quick heats." What is he? I might miss something, Jeff?
No, it looks pretty good to me.
I'm
He's
not
having a
following
hard
the
time.
question.
He's having a hard time welding up the ends.
The ends
Or he's
of
having a
what?
hard time. He's having a hard time forge welding the whole thing.
Okay, I see. And it sounds like he's doing it by hand?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're hand forging a billet together, one, I wouldn't start with a giant billet. And two, if you have a welder, just gluing up both ends will help keep those ends closed. But otherwise, a big enough hammer. I think a couple episodes back, again talking about past episodes, we had somebody who was trying to do sand mine with material that was like 2 inches wide by whatever 6 or 7 inches or whatever. It was way too much for what their hammer was ever, like the surface area that their hand hammer was able to cover. And so I think if I was going to weld by hand a small billet, it would probably only be about 1 inch wide by maybe 1 inch and a quarter tall, which means it wouldn't start with very many layers.
We've got another call. Shall we take him? Sorry, we'll get back to you in a second. We'll get back to you. Benny's Tool, how can we help?
Oh, I just thought I'd ring up from Australia, big man himself, but I was going to answer your question for you, but I got no fucking idea. You could have picked a better one.
So are you watching us live as well, Benny?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
Ah, cool. So you've heard the question, but you haven't got the answer. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do then. Jeff, read up the next question. We'll come back to this one. Read up the next question, and Benny can answer that one for us.
Benny, this one's for you, okay? You ready?
Yeah, man.
All right. Here you go, Benny. This one comes from Aiden. I recently got my hands on a couple of giant planks of different types of wood. Beech, ash, oak, and alder, non-stabilized. Which one of these, if any in your experience, is the most suitable for a kitchen knife handle, or should I fuck away off and buy some G10? What do you think? Benny?
Oh, look, I probably wouldn't use any of them. I'd go to Texas Farrier Supply, I reckon. I reckon they might have a good supply of material. What else can you get at Texas Farrier Supply, Craig?
Nice one, Benny. Let me tell you all about Texas Farrier Supply. Not only do they do stuff for farriers, as the name suggests, they do stuff for knife makers. They've got a whole section for knife makers. So if you head on over to texasfarriersupply.com, you can get 10% off if you use Knife Talk 10 off your whole order. And they use Indasa there as well. They stock Indasa, Rhino Wet, which is the sandpaper that we all use. So if you need that, you want to head on over to Texas Fire Supply, use that discount, and make sure you fill up your cart. And that's a recommendation from Benny in Australia.
Fucking Benny, you're the man. That was
Benny
a
and the
tight
Jets.
answer.
Nailed
That
it.
was a tight answer.
Doing
That
our
was
job
perfect.
for us. Let's go back to Mareko. Hadn't quite finished that question,
Okay.
actually.
So what I was saying, if I was gonna hand forge a small billet, I probably wouldn't make the material any wider than about 1 inch, because that's how big the hammer, the forging forging hammer faces are. That's kind of the surface area they cover. And then I probably wouldn't make it much more than like maybe 4 to 6 inches, and maybe 1.25 inch tall, because you want that force forging by hand to also transfer through the entire stack. The first few rounds of welding, and you're probably gonna need flux, honestly, because you're just gonna need it, honestly. So when you start forging by hand, though, you don't want to go all ham out, like hitting as hard as you can. You want to kind of just gently kind of tap and gently massage all this material together. You can get it up to really high temperature, probably higher or hotter than most, or you can take it up to a temperature that's plenty hot for forge welding, and your forges aren't going to go beyond a point where your material is going to start melting or anything. Very few people actually have forges that can do that would cause the material to melt. So be okay with a high temperature. Take your time, kind of gently massaging it together, at least probably the first few heats. You want to finish. You don't want to keep forging it, especially on the initial welds, until it's really cold. You want it to still be glowing pretty hot, and get it back in the forge. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to snug up that stack. You just want them to start coming together very gently, and then to get it back in the forge and let that come back up the temperature. Repeat that until you feel like it's very solid. Then you could probably start forging a bit more aggressively on it to kind of reduce it and draw it out for a restack, or forging a blade from there.
I just saw
Bring in the heat.
John Williams. John Williams was down at the Center for Metal Arts, and he did a demo where he was forge welding 2 parts of a tong, one part of a tong, and he got both pieces ready. He had his hammer on the anvil. He brought them both over with the tongs, put one on top of the other, picked up the hammer, gave it one tap, and that was all it took. And it wasn't like a smash. The forge welding, once again, blacksmithing helps. So it was not, he didn't go berserk. He didn't need a sledgehammer. He forge welded with very, very little force.
No.
So
Whilst we're talking about hammers, I think we need to talk about Ben Snur's hammer that he put on Instagram, I think either today or yesterday. The finish on that thing, I've never seen a hammer like it. It was incredible. He did this great video and it spins round slowly, so you can see the light coming off all the facets. It was a beautiful thing.
it was titanium.
Titanium, was it? Wow.
Yeah, it was titanium. And I talked to him about it, and he was like, it was such a bear because he had to forge it, and then the grinding is brutal. But it's one of those things where you didn't have to heat treat it, which is nice. And I think he said the guy who bought it is probably hopefully going to just keep it in his office, because it's not really But I mean, it was big. He said it was like
nails.
He said it's bigger than the size of the hammer that he normally makes, but it weighed like less than half. Wow. It's like titanium is the craziest material. I mean, it's like space stuff.
Yeah. So it looked incredible, but maybe it wouldn't be as practical then, is it? Because it's light. Surely you want a heavy, massive material. Am I right? Or
I don't know enough about it.
You're doing too, though, right? Because sometimes you want a soft blow hammer.
I'm under the impression that it's not really meant to be a. I don't think it's gonna. It's meant to be a heavy use hammer. I think it's meant to be like a. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
But don't some blacksmiths use like bronze headed hammers for soft forging?
Yes,
with brass faces, mate. Yeah.
Well, a lot of them they're using it for non-marring their tools. Like some guys use it for, if they're setting their dies and they have that wedge system in their dies of their power hammer, and you don't want to start mushrooming your dies because all of a sudden it becomes a problem. So some guys use I don't know if they use a bronze one. But if you want the force without marring, a lot of guys use the bronze hammers. And I know that Pat Quinn at the Center for Metal Arts makes bronze hammers. They're pretty amazing.
I know that Peter Swarsbert, who used to be part of Dragon's Breath Forge, but when they would teach lessons there, Peter would make the hammers for, like, the student hammers, and basically he would just go to like Harbor Freight and reforge the heads and put new handles on them and stuff, so they're more practical for forging. But he never heat treated them because he knows that the students are going to miss and hit the anvil heads, and so instead of the hammer marring the anvil face, they're soft enough that they're not going to do anything to the anvil, but they're still sturdy enough that when they hit the hot metal, the metal's going to move. And so I think, I mean, maybe I'm completely off base, but I thought some blacksmiths have softer hammers just for doing that kind. Not even just setting wedges, but actually for maybe some of their finish for, I don't know.
I have
part of their forging process.
Jesse made me a softie out of just a hammer out of mild steel, and I actually use it for the center punch, because it'll give force, and I also use it for my touch mark because it'll give force, and then I'm not really screwing up the touch mark or the hammer. You don't want to use a forging hammer forging hammers for touch marks can be kind of difficult. My dies for my tire hammer are mild steel too, and I have no deformation of that. But at the same time, it's like when you're heating steel up, the steel is supposed to be softer than the hammer or I don't know if I would use mild steel for forging for this reason. Any kind of dents you get into your hammer, you're going to put that dent into your knife, into your whatever you're forging. So these softer hammers definitely get more. They definitely get more dings on them, and that ding is going to transfer onto whatever your work surface. That's why it's good to learn how to recondition your hammer faces. So if there are a lot of dents, like I had a guy once. I once had a guy at a metal shop. I was using my blacksmithing hammer to use as a center punch hammer, and the face of that hammer was destroyed. I had to resurface the whole thing because when you forge it, all of a sudden it's a textured hammer.
Yeah.
So you got to be real
like
careful.
A die. It'll transfer whatever texture is on there to the material you're hitting. Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful with that. But yeah, soft face hammers are awesome.
Cool. Okay, we've talked enough about knives, I think.
Okay. Bomb is getting set down.
Okay, Morocco, it's your turn.
All right.
So Jeff had, I think, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, which isn't bad. Better than I think, done previous weeks. 3 out of 5. So Morocco, are you ready for your first question?
Yeah.
Let's have some. Again, people in the chat, same sort of thing. Unless he's specifically asking for help, please don't. What sort of animal is Walt Disney's Dumbo? Is it A?
C, elephant.
B, rabbit. C, elephant. D, donkey. Are you going for C, elephant? Okay. How many times have you seen this in the last 2 years?
Last time I saw it, I think I was about 6 years old.
Oh, really? Oh, right. Okay. I thought you were going to say your child's been watching it a lot. Okay, you're correct. Mm-hmm. First question is correct. Elephant. Number 2. What is the largest city in the USA's largest state? Is it A, Dallas, B, LA, C, New York, or D, Anchorage?
D, Anchorage. That was a hard one to understand.
Correct. Anchorage. Wow. Okay. Number 3. I like this one. What was the name of the Spanish waiter in the TV sitcom Fawlty Towers? Now, I'm not sure if you had Fawlty Towers in the US, but it was a massive thing in the UK. Is it A, Manuel, B, Pedro, C, Alfonso, or D, Javier?
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of Fawlty Towers.
You've never heard of Fawlty Towers with John Cleese?
No.
Wow, it was one of
I
those
mean, I love John
classic,
Cleese, but
one of those
no.
classic pre-Python. I think it was pre-Python. It was a huge show. So there was a Spanish waiter, and basically you
Sure.
just slap him over the head all the time, and it probably wouldn't be allowed these days to show it on TV. But at the time,
That
we
show
were
would be
in
canceled in a second.
simpler times. It was very, very funny. So where you got you've got a phone a friend, and you've also
Right.
got the ask the audience.
Yeah, I'm tempted to phone your wife.
My wife.
Do you think she would pick up? Yeah, Amy.
Possibly. Okay.
Wow, that's
wow,
a
okay,
bold move.
That's a bold move.
Bold move. I like it. I like a bold move.
Right.
I was
I mean,
gonna
it's
call
not a
my wife
competition
out-
against you, Craig. So you, I don't know why that would hurt.
Right. Are you sure about this?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, let's try. It's ringing. She
If
doesn't.
she doesn't
know
pick
about
up,
this.
I have a backup. Yeah.
What a
Okay.
bold move. Good man.
Okay, it's ringing. It is ringing. She's trying to watch Line of Duty in the other room, I know.
Oh shit.
Do. It's ringing. Contacting. Is it connecting? I don't think she's going to answer. No. What's going to happen is she's going to text me any minute now and say, "What do you want? What do you want? Do you want me to bring you in a drink? Is it?" And I'm like, no, I don't want you to bring me in a drink. No, I'm going to try one more time.
Okay.
time.
All right.
It is a strong power move. Everyone,
Strong move. I know she'll know the answer.
Matt
whether she-
Coates says
whether
power
she-
move by Morocco.
whether she
Muir and
picks
Knives,
up.
best move ever.
Suspense music.
I gotta
I
think
don't
of a
think she's
backup
picking
call.
up. I think we need it. We
She doesn't
need your
pick up.
backup. I think Morocco. I think we've been let.
Oh,
Oh wait,
boy.
wait. No, Sausage Man
Oh.
Forge was trying to ring us at the same time. Then
He'll know. Saucy will
Sure.
know. Guys, get
Let's
Saucy
get
on.
Jamie on. Yeah, let's get Jamie.
okay, where is he? Sausage Man Forge. He just tried ringing, so we shall ring him back. Sausage Man Forge. Here we go. We're gonna ring him.
I've been wanting to call your wife for the last couple episodes.
Easy.
I thought that'd be
Easy,
funny.
easy.
Yeah, this podcast is
Sausage
just
Man Forge, you are live on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Please do not say fuck or bugger. Your friend Morocco has a question and he is stuck on $1 million. He needs your help. So when I finish talking, Morocco's going to read out the question to you and you've got 30 seconds to give us the correct answer. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Morocco, over to you.
All right. What was the name of the Spanish waiter in the TV sitcom Faulty Towers? Was it A, Manuel? Was it B, Pedro? C, Alfonso? Or D, Javier?
It's A. Manuel.
He sounds very confident.
Correct.
I'm
It
gonna
was
take
David.
it.
Here's my man.
Saucy.
He said, "Hey, I know
Jamie.
nothing. I'm from Barcelona." That's what he used to say. I know nothing. Morocco, congratulate your caller.
Jamie, thank you so much. How you doing? What were you? I know we just
Yeah.
missed your phone call. What were you calling about?
Mate, I was calling just to say g'day, and 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting in my car getting ready for a class this morning, and just thought I'd call in and enjoy the fun.
6 in the
Oh,
morning,
yeah.
and you've got idiots like us calling you up, asking you silly questions.
You just saved
I'm
my ass.
sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm up for it.
What class is it you're doing?
Forge knife, chef's knife class today. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Jamie, I have a question.
yeah, that's it.
Can
Yes,
you
sir.
tell me? I've been dying to know what and you're not going to get hung up on. Don't worry about that. I'm dying to know what a Kransky is. Well, you guys talk about Kranskys all the time. What is a Kransky?
Okay, it's a Austrian sausage. It's
Mm.
pork or beef. It's generally smoked.
Oof.
Yeah, it's just awesome. I think you call them the smoked worst in the States. Yeah, pretty much that's it. But like in Austria, yeah, that's every street corner's got a sausage shop on it. So yeah, that's it.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
We just like
Sounds great.
Oh well, that's why I'm a sausage man. my career. It's just endless dick jokes about sausage. So you know.
I can imagine. But look,
Mert's the scariest because he yells at me across the room. You know, I want to eat your juicy sausage and stuff, and everyone's looking at him like this 6 foot tall Turkish guy screaming at me. It's pretty funny.
That's perfect.
Brilliant. Look, thanks for calling in, and Mareko, thanks you very much for
Jamie,
knowing
thank
the
you.
correct answer, and it was Manuel. Cheers, Jamie. Cheers.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys. See you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Awesome. Good old
Well,
stuff.
he knew the answer. Yeah, so the answer was Manuel. And yeah, he's from Barcelona and he know nothing. That's what he used to keep saying all the time, which was really funny.
Okay.
Number 4. Nadia Comaneci was the first gymnast to ever do what at the Olympics? Does it get a perfect 10, get suspended, collapse, or kiss the judge?
You might know her better as Nadia Comaneci.
Okay, sorry.
That was the way the Americans called
her.
her.
My initial guess would be A, but I'm going to go to the audience for this one.
Okay. Audience, time to shine. Who have you got? So is it A, get a perfect 10, B, get suspended, C, collapse, or D, kiss the judge?
Speaking of collapsing, you almost choked on that collapse.
I know. I ate far too quickly before coming on.
All that Kransky talk got you all choked up.
Oh, all right. So Griffiths is saying A. Who else we got?
No idea.
Still Griffiths saying A.
It's like those people. So Matt Coach had just written no idea. It's like those
Right.
people who do like an Amazon review and they say, I don't know, I haven't got one. It's like, what are you doing, these people?
Right. All right. I'm just going to go. I think I'm just going to go with A.
You're going to go with A. So, yeah, and Warren has said the same thing. Perfect 10. So the
same.
answer
All right.
is, you're correct. It's A. She's the first person to get a perfect 10.
Griffith has also been on fire today. He's been on fire today in the chat.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So Mareko, you've won already. You've got 4 out of 4. Whereas Jeff stopped on 3. But we might as well give you your last question just to see how you got on. Oysters can change something most other animals can't. Which is it? Is it size? Is it the color of their shell? Is it their taste? Or is it their gender? Oysters.
I'm going to go with D. They are called bivalves, right?
Maybe
they're gendered as well.
I don't think the valve is a representation of some sort of genital hole.
The valve. Oh, geez.
I have never heard of an oyster penis nor an oyster vagina. But
no, they send out eggs. They send out eggs and sperm, I think, but I don't know. Maybe it changes.
There you go. Some people have all the.
So you're going with D, gender.
I'm gonna go with it's either C or D, but I want it to be D, gender.
Congratulations, you are correct with 5 out of 5, and I think this is the 3rd week in a row that you've won now, Mareko. 3 out of 3. Jeff,
Yeah,
you need
I don't know if
to...
last week really counts as a win.
What are you talking about? I mean, congratulations.
I think Jeff, you need to read up maybe this week. But yeah,
or pick some better callers. I mean, I'm thinking. I'm thinking Jeremy's gonna bring me to the end, and I don't know about broken bones or babies. Let's be
broken
sad.
bones on babies.
No road to victory there.
None at all. So let's head back to sort of what we were doing, and I'm wondering, Jeff, do we have any?
How about some hot takes?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of them, but we do have some hot takes. Yeah, we get a few hot takes. So obviously, people don't like it when I explain what a hot take is, but I only explain what a hot take is because some of you don't know what a hot take is. And
just to piss off those 1 or 2.
I seriously hope that Craig, you have a couple hot takes because you've been saying hot takes to me throughout the week, which I hope you hold on to. So
I don't remember them.
You don't remember them? All right.
No,
all right,
no. Let's have a look.
All right, so I'll give you a couple hot takes. Here's a hot take from the vice president of the NEB, Bob Bernard. The vice president is sending in hot takes. Hot take: facial hair, including stubble fuzz, defeats your passive. That means a container dust filter respiratory protection. So if you have a beard, that's acceptable as respiratory protection. Thank you, Bob. Lyle,
I've got one.
okay,
A
go
hot
ahead.
take. If you're putting tapered tangs on a chef knife, your stock is already too thick.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Horse's mouth, that one.
I had a couple hot takes earlier. And if you're in the chat room and you got some hot takes, we'll read them off. So the next one comes from Lyle Style. Chefs are the Nickelback of knife sharpeners.
The Nickelback.
It's not a bad hot
shit,
take.
That's
not a bad hot take.
That deserves a T-shirt.
We're not
That
doing
should be
that
a
again
T-shirt.
anymore. The T-shirt game. We can't do that.
No.
anymore.
I just
can't be
mean that
doing
should be a design.
Oh,
That should
okay.
be on
I
a
thought you were like,
t-shirt.
we should send him a T-shirt. I'm like, ugh, I'm not sending him a shirt.
No.
Steve Ellis says, "Here's a hot take. Craig is drunk with power and needs someone to take away his button."
I don't do it anymore. I'm over that. That was so last month. Jeez.
We also got a good seething review on iTunes about our treatment, and I got a couple calls about our treatment of our callers. So things got dialed back.
Somebody did say that they refuse to listen anymore if I keep hanging up on people, and
People
they
don't
didn't say this is a joke. They were genuinely upset. So
some of these people, and I've had a call from someone who was generally upset, and it was like, you don't understand radio. You don't understand radio.
was this somebody that I'd hung up on? Were they upset because
No.
no.
Anyone? I think it was a cultural thing. I think it was like I don't think they understood where we were coming from. I don't think they understood the good natured quality of it, and it got crazy. Matt Quote says, "Here's a hot take: don't take laxatives and sleeping pills at the same time." That's a good hot take.
That's a good
Matt
one.
Coates on fire
Great way
today.
to get to bed.
Matt Coates is on fire today. Jamie Mackey says, "Here's a less offensive hot take: the heel on chef knives is as important as the point." Jordan Buckley says, "Hot take: it's less about overall lighting, but rather localized lighting in different areas by adjustable lights and lamps." There you go, lighting. Okay, here's a long hot take. Anybody if you're in the chat and you want to send in some hot takes, start peeling them out. If they're any good, we'll read them off. Misspent You says, "For all those who argue for traditional blacksmithing only, when you're finished mining your ore and forging your knife, how long does it take for you to press the papyrus yourself, sketch a drawing of it with a feather quill, and post it to the internet via carrier pigeon? Technology is ever-evolving sliding scale, not a point in time. If you try to preserve every element of traditional blacksmithing, no one will endeavor to continue the trade because it becomes too unprofitable, and the smallest elements that you hope to preserve will be lost completely when the entirety of the craft is abandoned."
This is what happened when you don't tell people what a hot take is. They say,
"This is what I'm telling you." I get messages about like, "This is message." I get messages like, "Don't read what a hot take is." A hot take should be a quick. It should be quick, and it should be to the point. That was a long hot take. That's why I have to read about what a hot take is. Everybody,
I've got another one.
Go ahead.
Glow in the dark liners are the Billie Eilish of pop music. So they don't fit in with traditional styles, and everybody will be doing them in the next couple of years. That's my hot take.
I got nothing but love for Billie Eilish's music.
No.
Oh yeah, me too.
Me too. What I'm saying is everybody's going to be copying her style within the next few years. You know, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Archie Selka says,
Oh. We've got a caller. Who are you?
Hello, guys. My name's Adam. How are you?
Hello, Adam. We're good. Where are you calling from, Adam?
Upstate New York.
Upstate
Troy area.
Are you a relative of Jeff?
No, I am not. He's too old for me. Too old
right.
to be my dad.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, how can we help you, Adam?
We just stopped hanging up on people.
I was just kind of calling to hope to get hung up on and play it off.
We don't do
We're not
that
doing
anymore.
that anymore.
We don't do it anymore.
You don't do that anymore.
We don't do it
Oh,
anymore.
darn.
We got scolded too many times.
Some snowflakes got
Ask him
burned.
for a hot take.
Have you got a hot take for us, Adam?
Crazy Damascus is unappealing to the eye. I'd rather have a nice hamong than Crazy Damascus.
That's
Dan,
a good hot take.
He wants to
Thank
get
you.
hung up on so bad.
He does want to be
Fuck
hung up
you.
on.
Oh, that's way worse. You're coming.
Wow!
Damn, shots fired. We're trying to be nice now.
He's
Here's
gone.
some hot
Adam's
takes.
gone.
Here's the hot takes from the studio audience. This one comes from Saraf Aladdin. Sarafaz, sorry I don't know how to pronounce your name right, my man. A hot take: customers don't care about the work you put into a knife; they care about the story. They can tell when they talk about it. I'm going to add to it: they care about the price. Dustin Sheffield says, "Hot take: ketchup patina is far more classy than mustard." Ketchup patina.
And
I don't
Ed
ever
Warren,
get-
hot take: glow liners have already come and gone.
Oh,
Quite right.
snap.
Quite right. That is cold.
he just got unblocked from Morocco, and now he's going to be blocked by Craig. Griffith Handwork says Matt Coates' hot take about taking laxatives and sleeping pills at the same time is great for weight loss. So there you go.
There we go. There we go.
We have a couple more. Here's a hot take from Archie Selka. 2x72 grinders are not grinders. They're belt sanders. I have heard this argument before that we call them grinders and they're really sanders. I've heard that before. But if you were to use a 2x72 belt sander, Craig, what would you use?
If I had the choice of any on the market at the moment, I'd use a Broadback, of course. They're just, from what I hear, I don't actually have one, but from what I hear, they are so flexible in that they go upright and they go to the side as well, so you can do horizontal, vertical stuff. But what I really like about them, and I've got a few of their arms, which is really good because they'll fit other grinders too. So they're arm accessories. They've got one for any sort of use that you need. So whether it's big wheels, little wheels, small wheel attachments. I've got the surface grinding attachment as well. All these different attachments. So yeah, they're the ones to get, and they're very, very well priced. They come in almost like a kit form, so you can make them up yourself. And I've seen some fantastic paint jobs that people have been doing as well, and that's really cool. And they do actually have a deal on at the moment. So not only can you get your 10% off by using Knife Talk 10, but if you were to buy one, you're automatically put into a raffle, because when they go to Blade Show, which they're going to announce something very special at Blade Show. But if you've already bought one before then, you're going to be put into a raffle where you could win a second machine, which is what everybody wants. Everybody needs two machines because it just makes life so much easier. So if you need a grinder, go and get the best, which is a Broadback. Get your 10% off using Knife Talk 10, and also be in with a shot then to get a free second grinder again. So yeah, go head over, broadbackironworks.com.
Here's another hot take from Bear Valley Forge. I know you didn't ask, but Craig should use the sound of the Sawzall in place of the walkout music and say something along the lines of, "The electrician is back."
Oh. We've got another call.
Hello.
Who are you and how can we help?
I'm Safraz. You just read my hot take, or Jeff did anyway.
Cool.
Hi, Safraz.
What's the hot take?
Good.
Which one was yours? Let me have a look.
Oh, about caring about the story that they could tell.
I've got you. Yes, yeah. No, good one. Thank you for watching live. It's fun, isn't it? It's really fun.
Of course.
being able
Yeah,
to
it's
interact with
awesome.
everybody.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. How can we
Yeah.
help you? What have you got to say?
I have a question about darkening metals. It's really easy to find information about carbon steels. People talk about coffee etches all the time. But I work primarily on stainless steels, and I want to try to darken my patterns. Do you guys know of any chemicals I could be using for that?
Is it? So you said there's patterns. So is it stainless Damascus or is it just stainless monosteels?
No, I'm not actually a knife maker. I create artwork on knives. So I etch my designs into existing blades.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually more of a question for Craig then. That's because if you're using like a laser or something, that's kind of a setting that you can do, isn't it?
Sorry, go on.
I'm using acid to etch my stuff.
I got you.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to say I'm not using a laser at all. So.
Right. Okay. So before getting a laser, I was always etching logos, and I did some with bits of artwork as well on it. Trying to mimic what a laser would do. And basically, I'd be using the etching fluid that you use for PCB boards. What's it called? The acid. Ferric chloride. Ferric chloride. Yes.
Ferric, yeah.
So I was using that.
Okay, cool.
With templates, and a bunch of different styles of templates. So at one point I was using like a vinyl plotter, and
yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. So you can cut out things that way. You can get some material which you can screen print as well, which actually gives a much better.
Yeah, I need to look into that.
Yeah, it's like this blue sort of tape. But
right.
Really to have full control, you would be probably looking at a laser, a fiber laser specifically for stainless. And I mean, mine's a 50 watt, but I've seen stuff done on a 20 watt, which it's pretty much the same. And you can get a 20 watt laser for probably about $2,000. Shipped from China. So yeah, I mean it's still not cheap. But the difference, what you'll be able to do then, and I've been experimenting with using different power settings and that kind of thing. And you can get shades, so it's not literally as binary as black and white. You can get different shades to do some nice shading. So what some people are doing is really nice. But what I would say is, particularly if you're doing chef knives, maybe keep it away from that cutting edge, any artwork that you have. It's why quite often you see stuff flowing from bolsters and that looks really nice. But for the cutting edge, it can build up a bit of heat. So just be a bit careful. But yeah, unfortunately, apart from etching, which the way you're doing, I don't know any other way apart from stepping up and going to a laser, I'm afraid.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for the advice.
Cool. Thank you very much for calling and for watching. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I would like to just add one thing from what we were talking about before. Thanks to Tom Moss. Tom Moss just said that something to do with the lottery, with a giveaway from Broadbeck. And I just went to the Broadbeck Instagram. They are not doing the giveaway. There's no giveaway. There's no giveaway for the Broadbeck grinder. Yeah, and I guess Vince wrote the giveaway is canceled due to FTC regulations.
Ugh,
so
Jesus
thank you, Tom,
Federal
for
Trade
bringing that
Commission.
to our attention. Gotta love the listeners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
Wouldn't
you
have known.
But hey, you can still get your 10% off anyways. Just obviously worth going to Broadbeck.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, N. Warren added in the comments regarding the stainless and etching and darkening, that muriatic acid will help darken. Also, a mixture of ferric chloride, like a 50-50 mixture of ferric chloride and white distilled vinegar, I've understand helps bring out contrast, especially in stainless Damascus. And when it comes to Damascus, especially like even people forging their own, maybe from like CPM 154 in combination with ABL, the discerning thing that makes one etch darker than the other is the molybdenum, which is one of the compounds that's in the steel chemistry in general. And so the ABL lacks the molybdenum, and that galvanic reaction is allowed to take its place, and that's why the ABL will darken up really nicely versus the like CPM 154 or whatever else.
Wow.
But you're always going to have a problem when you're etching a monosteel, hoping for different contrasts. And so what I would probably do, if like what this guy's doing, he probably is going for some topography, and then he can darken. So I would go for topography with like muriatic. Then I would follow with darkening, maybe with the ferric and acid mix. Again, it depending on the steel, it's going to determine how dark that actually gets. Then once you have everything basically darkened up, you go back and selectively clean up the surface where you want it to be bright again, basically.
Cool.
That's the only.
Nothing.
If you were going to go the acid route, that's the only thing I
Yes,
could
yeah.
think of doing.
Got you. Okay. Nothing to add there. But I think, guys, we've been on for an hour and a half. I think maybe now
Oh
is
my
the time.
god.
Let's start with Jeff. Dream for the week.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting my blood test results back tomorrow. that's the big thing. On now that I'm a old guy, I'm looking forward to grinding
You're
some
not
knives.
that old. You're not. You're
I'm
too
not
young
old
to be
enough for the
rimmed.
finger up the
Remember,
ass.
too young to be rimmed.
I'm too young. I'm too young to get up the old bunghole. But I'm looking forward to grinding some of these knives back. A lot of handle stuff next week, which is really good. I'm kind of bummed out. I did this knife that I was going to keep that was my style handle with Florentine's knife, with Tomer's knife, and I realized it looks like shit. So I got to redo that. And I got to
Really?
completely
It looked-
start over. Yeah,
What
the
I saw,
handle.
it looked
I
really
fucked the handle
nice.
up. I fucked the
Ah,
handle up. It was
no.
just like, butt. Speaking of rims, the butt caps are like, they're not really my forte. So
right. Okay.
fingering the butt cap is not my forte. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm looking forward to the weathers. That's what she said, right? I'm looking forward to some good. Listen, I might have some nice steak in the next couple nights, so I'm gonna do that. I'm still gonna stay off the booze for a while. I'm really kind of pushing towards dropping a couple more 20 more pounds. So I'm shooting for doing what I'm doing until July.
Yeah.
And then
Then all
nice,
bets are
really
off.
nice. It's Mother's. Oh, and P.S. in the United States, it's Mother's Day. To all you mothers out there, some of you listeners are a bunch of mothers, So Mother's Day is on Sunday, so we're gonna have a nice time with my mother, and then we're gonna Lila's mother too, my wife. We're gonna spend Mother's Day with them.
Nice.
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 What kind of ice cream are you going to be getting for your mom?
Zero ice cream. She's on a.
Oh, she's done.
She's on a.
She's
She's
done with
on
the
a
ice
no
cream.
ice cream, no sugar diet. She's on a diabetic.
Oh, I bet she loves
You're
that.
diabetic, and you're getting no ice cream out of me. So forget it.
No fun with Grandpa Jeff.
No fun.
Okay, I'll go with mine next, and we leave Morocco to finish the show. So this week, we are heading to the UK in 2 weeks' time for 5 weeks. So I've got a lot to sort of get out this week. So I've got a restaurant order, which I've been working on for a while, which will be finishing. I've got another sort of one-off special knife, which I'm going to put live next Friday again. And I've got a bunch of recycled plastic handles for steak knives for a customer in Ireland. So I need to get all of these out by next Saturday, which gives me a week then to sweep up all the rest of the stuff before we head to the UK. That's it. I forgot to say earlier, I had my jab. What was it? I think the day before yesterday, my vaccine. So I'm really pleased with that. My arm is still a little bit sore, but I've been great. There's been no sort of side effects or anything, so that's all good. So yeah, it's a bit of a head down this week, which is quite nice because I get a lot of shop time, which I haven't had in the last few weeks. So that's my week.
So are you going to have problems going into the UK or?
No, because we are. I've got a British passport still, so I can still go. But we need to self-isolate for 10 days when we're there. Which we'll do at my sister's house, which is why we're going for such a long period of time. But because by the time you self-isolate, it's it'd be time to come back. So yeah, so we're going for 5 weeks, and we've got a number of things sort of planned. It's restrictions are far less back in Wales. They've coped much better with things. So shops are back open, restaurants are open. I think to eat outdoors, but within a couple of weeks you'll be able to eat indoors. It's everything's pretty good. So we need to be tested before we go. We need to be tested once we're there after 2 days, and once we're there for 10 days at the end of our self-isolation. So there's a lot of sort of admin that's got to go into it for all the testing and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's worth it. So we're going to be there for 5 weeks. So I'm looking forward to restaurants and seeing friends, and yeah, it seems as if we're going back to normality, because things do seem to be a lot more normal there. Whereas here, as I said, we still got curfews and all the rest of it. So we know we're good. We've had our vaccines, and also we need to do all these tests, continually as well. So yeah, we're all good. So yeah, that is that's my next 2 weeks, getting stuff ready to go.
What kind of rigmarole are you going to have to go through?
Sorry,
coming back.
Go on, Mareko.
What kind of rigmarole are you going to have to go through coming back? Are you concerned about any of that?
No, we've had our residency cards here now.
Okay.
So we've sort of got the best of both worlds for traveling. So we can travel to the UK because we've got a British passport, but we can travel back to France because we live here and we've got residency cards.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, it's fine legally doing it all. Yeah, we're all good. And funnily enough, Britain today, they announced a number of countries where you can travel back and forth without having to self-isolate at all. They're calling them like green countries, they're calling them, because they're on the green list. But unfortunately, France isn't in that, so we do need to self-isolate, unfortunately. Right, can we come to you now, Mareko? Are you sure?
Jeff was... Oh, wait, Jeff already did his, didn't he?
Jeff's done his, yes.
I'm already lost track of that. I am looking forward to not feeling like I have an ice pick in my lower back and being able to actually do things. Yeah, I actually had a point. I think I was doing some cooking dinner, and I sneezed, and just this tremendous, I almost fell on the ground. Like, there's so much pain shot up my back. So I'm looking forward to that shit all being done and moving on from that. And honestly, my shop has been a bit of a mess since all that electrical stuff and stuff had, got all moved around and everything to accommodate that. And so I need to do a bit of work to get things tidied up around here and a bit more reorganized and kind of start out on a fresh, and kind of like with a more of a fresh feel in the shop again. That's about it.
Any
Mother's
sword
Day.
updates?
Any sword updates? No, I haven't started over on the sword yet. Did I tell you I have to start over on the sword, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, so really quick, anybody that didn't catch that, I made this sword. I have to start over on it because I ground through the pattern. And yeah, I've already got like 2 weeks worth of work in the damn thing already.
Oh.
So I'm kind of going slow with that and kind of and making sure I'm planning things out so that when I get into it and start moving forward, I have fewer of some of the issues I had before. I'm a little excited moving forward with that, in the way that I have an opportunity to kind of do a better reproduction, or more kind of like a historical reproduction and a historical take on this style of sword. And yeah, so that's about it.
I just texted you the
Oh.
Audible book.
Nice.
The Mind Body
texted it.
Prescription by Dr. John Sarno.
Okay.
I don't have an account with Audible.
No. I have one, and I actually have a credit right now. So I'll
The
pull
Mind
that up.
Body Prescription. I just sent it to you. That's
I
the one.
appreciate
That's
it.
That's his most famous one. The
Right.
Mind Body Prescription.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I think that is a show. Thank you all for listening and watching, those who are watching live as well. Quickly, N. Warren says, how long is your sword, Mareko?
The sword is 27 inches. It's a Roman spatha, and which is a cavalry sword, and that was basically the average size. They could go down to as short as like 24 inches, but sometimes as long as maybe 36 inches long.
Depends on the weather. I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Thank you
been
all.
swimming in a cold pool.
Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.
This show is brought to you by The Makery, the podcast network for makers.
That was fun.
Hello. It was fun.
Yeah, it was
It
good.
was. It was a lot more laid back this time. It was a bit manic last week, and I was
Well, I mean,
pressing too many buttons and all sorts. But
obviously, it's going to take a while to kind of figure these things out. But I think it was pretty smooth.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I like how you
I-
took all those
again-
calls.
Yeah, that's good.
It's still amazing me how we're getting a better signal now doing video with Morocco than we were when we were just doing audio, which makes me think maybe there's an issue with Squadcast or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
So annoying.
yeah, it's all sounding and looking good. So
I apologize if any of that background noise shows up in the background, Jeff. I don't know if you
Didn't hear a thing.
Yeah. So my shop is part of an overall building, right? And so on the other side of the wall, they have a gym where they come and work out periodically. And they know that I record the podcast, but their friends that are invited to come use the gym don't necessarily know that. And so their friend John, I think it was John that came in, and he's using like the rowing machine. I could hear him huffing and puffing. I'm just like,
How
Come
big
on,
of a
man.
gym is it? How big of a gym is it?
So I'm in a 3,000 square foot building. I have 600 and probably about 650 square feet, and it's split in half. So that's 650 square feet of about 1,500 square feet on my half of the building, or that I'm in. And so the rest of that is all their kind of gymnasium, kind of man cave space. They have like a multi-cade over here and stuff like that, and I have access to it to use it, but I didn't realize that other people weren't going to be coming in during the podcast.
we couldn't hear a thing, honestly. We
Couldn't hear a
thing.
thing.
That's good.
Not at all.
Cool.
Rainy Day Forge doesn't like our video quality.
Morocco's
You
video
got a problem
and Jeff's
with the video
video
quality.
are quite blurry.
Quite blurry. Oh.
I don't know who Jeff is with the G. Oh, I got a funny
Yeah.
story. We had nothing but we had a sewage problem earlier in the week, and we had a crew come to clean it out. Water, blah blah blah, plumbers and all that
Yikes.
In the house or in the shop?
in the basement of the house.
Right.
It was really
Ugh.
like not good, but I caught
Yeah.
it before it was really bad, but it was bad. And we had a guy who came to pick up the fans on the last day, and he just kind of like super slow, not really just tying,
get paid by
just
the hour?
really just like, yeah, it was very, I mean, he was just picking stuff up too. And he had a Jamaican accent, and he was saying he looked like Stanley from The Office, like exactly. Like it was great.
Oh,
It was
wow.
great. And he was super nice, and he's just like going through everything. He's taking his time, and he says, "Is this your name?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Is that how you spell it?" I said, "Yeah, it's how I spell it." He goes, "That's weird." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So they have it Jeff and then Geoff." I said, "Yeah, I guess so." He goes, "I wonder why." And I was like, "I don't know. You're gonna have to ask my old man, and he's dead. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not really at the point of, I can't tell. I don't know. And then he says to me in a Jamaican accent, "I'm with you." It was great.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was great. I'm not doing it, but it was awesome. But it was just like, and I was just like, why are you asking me this? It's like, just who cares? Who cares? He goes, it's weird how names are so different. I'm like, yeah, it's weird.
He's
It's
got a
weird how names are so different. I have to go back to work. You have to leave. Please, I'm
He's
begging
got a
you.
lot of time to think while he's got his arm down somebody's toilet, you know?
Oh my God.
Jeez, yeah.
Oh,
Well, anyway, good luck for Mother's Day. Spending time with mothers. It's weird. Our Mother's Day isn't until I don't even know when it is. I think it was way back. I think, but maybe sort of February time. But yeah, that's weird. Yeah, we've got nothing to talk about now, really. Have we? The show's over.
Well, everything went well.
Isn't names weird? Isn't Mother's Day weird?
Mother's Day is fucking weird. It's a Hallmark holiday. My dad would call it a Hallmark holiday.
Yeah.
So,
right, I'm gonna head off. If you two leave your browsers open again, just for a couple of minutes, and I'll get all your audio, and we're good to go.
Sure
okay.
thing.
That was fun.